Okay. All right. Oh, good, good. We can tired. Hey, sorry. We believe that I think the fasting is ending today. So hopefully after today, you get your strength back. Well done. I mean, you've gotten it to the end. All right. Okay. So can everybody confirm if my screen is still visible before we move ahead? All right, cool. All right, so today we are going to be looking majorly, I'm going to be looking at some agendas just as we did yesterday. And today, some of the agendas we're going to be looking at will be introduction to charts and graphs. Then we'll be looking at advanced chart types, class activity on Excel charts, and then general discussion on Excel job interview. I welcome you to come along with me as we go today. And I hope that you are able to grab as we move forward. Now, introduction to charts and graphs. Does anyone at all have an understanding of charts or graphs who can like tell us what they know or what they want to share? Anybody at all? We'll have 1 minute to do that.
Can I?
Yeah, please go for it. Tell us your name and then tell us, what's your
I'm Oluwaseun. So charts and graph are graphical ways of representing data when you have them in form of category or non-categorical data, like either numeric or in form of text. So charts and graph provide a graphical representation for you to see through data and have an understanding as per the trend or what is happening towards a particular situation. For instance, let's say population data in Nigeria, we use graph and data to show which state has the largest population, stuff like that.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. That's an insightful one, and I love the example that you use. So as we move forward today, we are going to be touching on some of the things that you said, and also we'll be testing some data as as far as graphs and charts are concerned. So yeah, chart and graph basically are visual representation of data. They are usually done to make the analysis that has been performed to be more understandable, more clear, and also in simple form. They are done to summarize data generally, and you can compare them, with what has been done before and after the data is being done, and also use it to present. You can check for patterns, just the same way we've talked about yesterday when we were talking about data analytics, data analysis, data visualization, processing, and all of that. Basically, you can use you can investigate your data and then visualize the reason, the point, the purpose, of the data in a simple form as it concerns the general scope of the analysis that is being done. Now, there is difference between, or there are even differences between charts and graphs. Basically, charts are generally like tables, diagrams, images, that you can use to summarize, your findings, your analysis, and also to present, data generally. And then for graphs, they are generally charts that shows the mathematical relationship between various data sets by plotting horizontal, which is x-axis, and then vertical y-axis. Now, I will use example of this first chart, this first graph on the left, on the top left, and I would like you to like look at that very well. That's a bar chart there. And if you can see, the arrow that goes upward from the left side, that's what we call the vertical axis. It's usually the y-axis. And then the one that goes forward, to The one that goes forward to the right side, from the left side, is what is called the horizontal axis. Charts are used to interpret data, as we've always said, and also make predictions, even though, graphs are also charts, but they usually focus on your analysis, the data, that you've investigated, the raw data, and you can use it in different forms. You can use it to like get insight into a population, like the example that Oluwaseun gave earlier. You can use it to show trends, trends of time or whatever it is, depending on the kind of data that you're working on at a particular point in time. So from this point, the word charts will be used as this encompasses both graphs, and charts, including table, columns, and all the things that we've used. So we are just going to be mentioning charts, but once that is said, please know that it also encompasses graphs, as it is. So aside from data visualization and presentation, charts are also used during the data cleaning and data analysis process. As a matter of fact, when you are doing some data pre-processing, and that's the same thing as data cleaning, you want to probably say, for example, you're looking at a movie data where you're trying to understand the pattern and the distribution of the data. You can actually plot a graph or a chart, say for example a word cloud, for you to have an understanding of what are actually the most important words that you can actually use while you are trying to do your analysis. So that also means that you can also use graphs even during your data cleaning. Do you understand? You can also use it, while you are doing your exploratory data analysis and whatever. So graphs also can be used from steps to step within your analysis. The data types are majorly two: the quantitative data and then the qualitative data. Quickly, I would like to show you. Now, yesterday we used this example. Let's look at sheet one. We used this example yesterday, all right? And you can see, like I was explaining when we were talking about the counts and count A, the type of data that are not numerical, that are not figures, those are called qualitative data. Data like names, like the department. But when it comes to quantitative data, they are the figures, they are the numerical data that you can use and investigate or even use for mathematical calculations. So basically, those are the ones that are referred to as quantitative data. 100,000 is a quantitative data. 0 is a quantitative data. 21 is a quantitative data. But when it comes to text, Jael Obi is a qualitative data. Eniola Callistus is a qualitative data, because everything you're looking at on this screen, they are all data in their own different forms. The email, for example, is a qualitative data because it's a text, it's basically a string, not exactly a figure, or a numerical data that you can use for mathematical calculations. So basically, that is that. If you have a question, please let me know, then we'll take it from there. So as we go forward, all right, like we said, quantitative data and qualitative data are now being explained further. Quantitative data are number-based, countable and measurable, while qualitative data are interpretation-based and descriptive. And just like we said, the example that I was giving now, these are more elaborated forms that you can find any of these data that we've been talking about. On the qualitative data area, you can see gender. Most of the time you hear gender is male or female. There is nothing quantitative about it, all right? Sometimes also religion. Religion is just telling you whether Christian, Muslim, or whichever, type of religion that you belong to. Those are qualitative data. It doesn't have any numbers or any figures within it. Marital status, married, single, the same thing. Native language, the same thing. Social class, qualifications, all of these things belong to the same category of qualitative data. And usually, this kind of data are referred to as categorical data, just like I mentioned that they belong to the same category, categorical data. Although qualitative data, I must mention, goes beyond just categorical data, but anything at all that is not number, just take it that is qualitative data. Quantitative data is generally numerical, just like I said, the data that you can use for calculation, data that are generally figures. Age, when they ask for your age, give a number. 20, that 20 when it's written in numerical figure is quantitative data. When it's written, in text, as in spellings, is qualitative data, but the general representation of age is usually in figures. So that belongs to the quantitative data, you know, world. Your height, they ask you, what's your height? Usually you say something like 6 feet, 6 feet 4, 7 feet 2, 5 feet 6 in numerical representation, quantitative data. Weight, what's your weight? I weigh how many kilogram? 27 kilogram, 58 kilogram, whatever it is, that's quantitative data. Income, just like we were using an example yesterday about some people collecting 100,000, some 150,000. That's in numerical, it's in figures, quantitative data. University size, quantitative data. Group size, quantitative data. Today, if they ask, what is the group size of people that attend to this class? For now, we are still 12 in number. That is quantitative data, and so on and so forth. Excel chart, and this is where you're going to start today. Microsoft Excel has several types of charts, offering users a pool of options to choose the charts that best fit their data set. Now, there are different types of charts, and I want you to come along with me. It starts from the line charts. If you can see by the right side of the screen on top, the graphics you see there is a line chart. This type of chart is basically used to display information as a series of data points, a continuous data points, usually called marker, but the marker you can see within the line chart here is actually those dots. Sometimes, there might be a line chart. The line chart can be in different forms. Sometimes they might actually not have those points. But majorly, even if they don't have it, that data point itself is called the marker. Connected by straight line segments, the line chart is mainly used to show patterns and trends in numeric data. Area chart. This is used to demonstrate the magnitude of a trend between two or more values over a given period. The area chart is based on the line chart as it uses both lines and areas to convey its information. So basically what you're looking at here in the second graph down here, is an area chart. Now, there's something we call legend. We'll look at all of these things as we go forward, so don't bother yourself. You could see the part that has the 2004 by the right side, 2004, 2003, 2002, 2001. So it means that the data that has been used here is actually not a single data form, is a multiple data form, which is from different year, 2004, 2003, 2002, 2001. And you can see the color representation within the legend. So you know that the one that is in purple is 2004. The one in lemon is 2003. The one in red is 2002. The one in blue is 2001. And you can flow along with it, based on what it is that we have. As we go on, we are still going to test, some of these things, why we put it together. I'm even thinking maybe we should start from here so that, we first of all put our data points together, and then from there, we can start. So we are going to try just the same way we did yesterday. We are going to put our data together. We are going to populate our own data to be used for the same purpose. So can someone give us, as we did yesterday, an example of what we should do? Let's use Ojimari text tab this time around. We could use any other thing, still within Ojimari or outside Ojimari, but don't let it be the staff salary, so that we can have varieties in the data point that we are trying to use. Any example, any suggestion? Let's keep it coming. Any suggestion? What kind of data should we look at?
That
Yeah, sorry.
maybe earth condition.
I can't hear you. Do you mind putting it into the chat? Okay, I'm
Um,
still waiting for suggestion. If you don't have that suggestion, we are not going to be able to move forward. Okay,
okay.
cool. Start having suggestion. COVID-19 data. Okay. What grade? Okay. More suggestion. COVID-19 data, that's going to be a whole lot of data. We might not be able to populate that, but I think what grade is actually something good.
Sales
And
of goods,
masterclass data. Okay, sorry, someone is saying something.
like sales of goods from the year
Sales
2000,
of goods, right?
from the year 2000
Cool,
to 2010.
cool, cool. Sales of goods for what year? Sorry,
2000 to 2010.
2000. That might be a lot for us to populate, but we can actually use um probably just some couple of months. So give us the
Yeah.
title again. Let's start from there.
Sales of goods.
Sales of goods, right?
Yeah.
Sales of goods. Sales of goods. Cool. So let's do that. Sales of goods. Okay. So let's just have maybe two different data points, so that we don't get it complicated. So let's start with, let's say we are looking for the sales of goods for different months. So let's have a title that says month. Months. All right. Month. And then let's take another one that says what kind of, okay, sales of goods. Let's get an example of a good, a type of good we are trying to look at. Let's have an example of the kind of goods we are trying to look at.
I,
Say
I think
which one? Let's give suggestion.
we can look into
Sorry,
one. We can just look into one product and check the prices, of that particular
all right.
product in the month of probably January. I mean, probably year 2001, 2002, probably to 2006. I think that one.
All right. So let's give an example of the product you're talking about. Just one product. Just say mention a product.
Smart TV.
Sorry.
Smart TV.
Smart TV. Thank you. Smart TV. Let's say smart TV. All right. Now let's populate the month. Let's just say you said what year again?
2000 to
Let's
2000.
just do 6 months now.
6 months. So we start from 2000 and did I hear 2006?
Yeah, 2000 to 2006.
Okay, so 2006 might be too much. Let's
Probably
just take
7 years.
6 months out of 2006. So let's do 2006, January 2006. All right. January 2006. Then so February 2006, March 2006, April
April.
2006, May 2000. So this is till September, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it to, okay, leave it to September. All right. So then let's have the smart TV, the sales of smart TV. So let's put it smart TV sales. All right, smart TV sales. Okay. So now let's give different amounts. Let's say for January, how much should we put to that? January, let's say the sales of smart TV is 20,000. Okay, so let's keep suggestion coming the way we did yesterday so that it will be fast. All right. We can put it inside the chat. In the chat, I'll take a look at them. So let's keep it going. The first month is 20,000. All right. Second month, what should we give it? 35,000. Good. Let's keep it coming. 35,000. Good. Third month, 28,000. 28,000. That's good. Fifth month, 40,000. 40,000. That's cool. Then I think we have 120,000, but we can still go back to 20,000. That's fine. Okay, so let's keep it coming. Say 56,000 next month, and then say 78,000 next month, and then say 120,000 next month, and then 43,000 the next month. Cool. All right. Now, so we have this data point. All right. And what we can do from here is that we can actually perform as much analysis and take a look at the graph. But before that, let's do something first. All right. Let's do a total of all of the sale altogether. Let's do a total. So now the total, like we used to say, right, is going to be what? Can someone remind us from what we did yesterday? If we want to put this in the total, what is the formula or the function that we are expected to use? Quickly.
Equal to sum.
Equals to sum. Thank you. Equals to sum. All right. Then what do we then do after that? Select our first tab, right? And then bring it to the last one. To the last one. And then what do? We enter it. And then the total of our sales is 440, which is okay. Enter, which is okay, actually. Just let's quickly bolden this out. All right. So now we want to plot, let's say, for example, we want to plot a line graph, all right, that shows, you know, the sales, that shows us what month do we have the highest sales, what month do we have the lowest sales, and then we can have insight into, you know, the different categories. I really would love to be able to take this off my screen. Okay, cool. So that we'll be able to, you know, understand, you know, this insight as to the sales, and then we can take decision forward from there. So what we do majorly is, first of all, yeah, you highlight the whole table, and then you can then insert. There is an insert here. And then you can see that there is a category here where you can have the chart, you know. So then you can then click on chart. Majorly, as you can see, it gives you different types of charts here that is being displayed. And you can choose. Don't forget that there are different types of charts that are quite specific, you know, or peculiar to some kind of data. Ideally, you can do any of these from here. You can choose, this is majorly a column chart. And from the column chart, you can choose the type of column chart, you know, you want to use. You could do the stack column chart. You could do the 100% stack column chart. And then you can do the clustered column chart. So if you come to the line chart, for example, you see, you have the different types of line charts that you can also make use of. You could do the line charts. You could do the stacked line charts, depending on the data that you're trying to do and what is likely going to work best for you. So in this case, let's say, for example, we want to choose, you know, the line chart, and then we then enter. All right. As you can see, all right, you can see that we now have our line chart here. And from this line chart, what are you able to understand? You can see that, you can understand that, oh, okay, so January actually tends to be the least of our sales. I mean, it's understandable. January, usually a lot of people have spent money in December, and then they want to save up for January because, you know, they will have a lot of things to probably deal with, and they are trying to cut down on spending. And then it makes sense that January actually, you know, have, you know, that little amount of sales. Now, it goes up a little bit in February, all right? And then it goes up a little bit in February. And then in March, you can see it comes down again in March, all right? So you can use this to kind of look at whatever it is that you're trying to do, and then you can have a perfect understanding, all right? Now, there are a lot of things that you can do to the graph to actually make it the way you want it to be. Now, we can change the chart title. You can change it to, say, for example, Smart TV Sales. Smart TV sales. All right. Smart TV sales. And you can also like tweak a whole lot of things around here, depending on what you actually want and what you want to do to simplify your data visualization. Then in this title area, there are other things that you can also do. Let's try something real quick. Now we have this part, all right, that is sales of goods. You can see that that's our E1, all right. So let's say we want to change the chart, the chart title, and they want to give you the formula so that at the end of the day, the formula is what will always be within our chart title. So we can do, okay. So instead of sales of goods, oh, I think because I'm using the Word document, okay, title options are here. And then, okay, so these are a lot of other things that you can do. But in some cases, you should be able to actually add the formula. If you are using the real Excel, the Excel application, I'm using the Word document for version of Excel. So, but in the real Excel, actually, when you click on the chart the chart title, you should be able to use the cell that you have your sales of good, and then automatically you enter it as equals to A1, and then that way your chart title is always going to be A1. So whatever it is that you have within that area, even when you change it, it's still going to convert into that chart title. Now, other things that we can do basically is that we can change a whole lot of things in this area. Let's say, for example, for this particular area, we understand that these are dates, all right? But for this area, let's say we want to put a title, because if anybody is looking at it, they might not exactly understand what these figures are doing, because it's because we're the one doing it, that's why we know that these are for sales. So what we can do is that in this area, there are different, different features that you can use. All right. So let's try the element. If you see within these elements, there are different features also that can be used. We have, and if you are trying something and you do not exactly understand what each of these things are doing, you can just play around, to be honest. Let's assume that the axis, we switch it off, for example. You can see what happens. So, and the chart does not really make much of a sense if you don't have an axis there. Then we bring it back there. All right. So the axis title, we can bring it. All right. Now, the axis title we have, there is one here, which is the horizontal area, and then there is the vertical area. You might just say, for example, you don't want to do all of the areas, and we just want to do one. All right. So we can just go for more options, and then instead of just using the two, we can just do one of them. All right. So that's that. We can also do, a lot of tweaking to our colors. Say for example, you want to take a look at different available styles. You could look at, any of this. You just try basically. So what you get here is the same line chart, but different format. You see, in this case, the y-axis had already, been disappeared, and then it puts it in each of these data points that we have here. You can also do that. Also, check another one. See the same line chart, but instead of having it as a straight angle line, it has it in more form of a curve. You could do as many as you want, depending on what exactly you want to do, to be honest. So basically, there are a lot of things that we could do. Let's just go back and then leave this for now. As we go forward, we keep trying them. Then the second one is area chart. Okay, so the area chart is similar to the line chart itself. I'm not exactly sure if we have the area chart within this version. So let's just click on this and then change chart type. Good, we have the area chart. So we could use the area charts here, and then we could do the first one, which is basically area. We could do the second one, which is stacked area. We could do the third one, which is 100% stacked area. And then you can see that there are different part of the area chart that could be used. You could just use whichever one that works for you. So let's say, for example, we're doing this area chart. Now we can see similar to the line chart, but this is giving us the exact area where our data points are. It's giving it to us, it's filling it up. And we can change it to whichever one we want. In case we don't want that, we can also do all the tweaking that we want. There's a whole lot of things you could do to your chart, depending on what exactly you want to do, with your analysis and what you feel like you want to present, basically. So this area is basically just to filter, say you want to filter categories, if you don't want, say for example, we don't want to see from July to September. You can just take out July, August, and September. All right. So we just take it out, and automatically, if you apply, you can see that you only see the data point from January to June. We put it back there, you can see it. Even sometimes if you want to forecast, say for example, you want to forecast beyond the data point that you have, you can also increase the categories, and then it will forecast, and once you're filling in the data, it keeps applying to it. So it's better to just have everything here. Let's just have this here as it says. The series also, we can do the same thing we do with that also. We can just choose, in case we have multiple series, but in this case, we only have a single series, actually. If you can see, we only have series 1. So if you were to have, say, for example, instead of just the smart TV sales, let's, for example, we have another TV sales or another product sales, and they want to compare them, and then we can put all those things together, and then we can choose which of the series we actually want to use. Like I said again, there is a whole lot of things that you can actually get to do with the chart area, based on what you intend to actually get out of it. A lot of things to play around with. Just don't be scared, play around, look at what it means, and then decide. Basically, the major area that you need is actually the chart area. You can do as much as you want to do. And if you notice something, you see that when the cursor is on the chart, there is the type of what's it called? The type of headers that we have, the type of detail that we have on the header area and also on the side is different. So when you click any cell, automatically it goes back to the normal type of display that you get to see as you go forward. So let's move forward. Before moving forward, do we have any question regarding what we've done so far before we go forward? The house is open for questions.
I just actually would have wanted to know how you will have put the title on the chart and put the formula. I tried it, it was bringing error.
How to do what? Sorry.
So when you are explaining how you could use the formula on the title, such that if you change the data, it will automatically adjust the chart.
Yeah, actually, I'm guessing I tried it actually, but I'm guessing maybe because I'm not using the Excel itself, I'm using the Word document version. Ideally, if you want to title, you can see here, you can just clean up and then add. But in terms of using formula, what is supposed to happen ideally is that this area is supposed to open up. So you can type here. And then in this area, if you're typing, as you want to change it, you just type the cell that you want the formula to be. You type it there and then you enter. Automatically, whatever is in the cell will also appear here. I really don't know why that is not happening here. I would have loved to do that, but I guess it's the format of Excel I'm using. If you're using the Excel itself that is not the Word document version, I am sure you should be able to do that. We could try it after today, then we'll come back together later tomorrow, and then we'll have further questions. I hope that that helps.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, okay, cool. So let's move forward. Do we have any other question before we go forward? Do Do we have any other questions? And another thing I think I should say also is that this one is actually the free version. I think maybe if it were to be the upgraded version or the pro version, maybe it would have worked, because usually when you're using the free version, you have some limited actions that you can take. So that might also be another thing that is causing this. So we'll go to the next step now. Now, don't forget, we say line chart is what is type of chart that is used to display trend. That's what we displayed the other time. The area chart is used to display both trend of what of two or more values, and I think we should actually play that out so that you can have a better understanding of that is. Let's just quickly let's quickly do. Let's add another product sales here. All right. Say for example we have fan sales. All right. Let's have fan sales. Yeah. So fan sales. So let's quickly populate this. Let's do 35,000. 53,000. Please don't hesitate to give suggestion in the chat box. I'll be looking at it so that we can move faster. All right, 53,000. Say 39,000. Let's keep it commonplace. 39,000. 42,000. All right, let's keep it coming. I'm out of I don't want to say I'm out of suggestion, but please give a suggestion. I'll be looking at the chat box. Let's make it fast, please. So let's populate it so that we can look at the example of we're saying 56,000. Thank you. 56,000. Then 65,000, 65,000, 76,000, 76,000, 77,000, 77,000, 86,000. All right. So that's the end. Thank you very much for that. It's 6,000. All right. So let's just quickly calculate the total of fan sales. What's our formula again? Can someone remind me, please? What's our formula again to calculate the total? The sum of anything.
Equal to sum.
Equals to sum. Thank you. Equals to sum. And then we do what? We highlight the cells that we want to calculate, and then we enter. That's 529,000. Now let's assume that we want to actually populate the area chart for this. What we do basically is select the areas that we want to populate. All right, populate it from here, and then we insert. Okay, thank you. And then we insert as usual, and then we go to our chart. We choose the area chart, and then say we do this. Okay, let's use this. Let's use this. All right. Now, as you can see, what the area chart does is it shows you the area for each of the file. All right. Now, the reason this does not make it easier is, okay, so let's do a little bit of, let's do a little bit of tweaking. Okay, so we have the legend. Don't forget, the legend is here. You can see the smart TV sales represented in blue. I can see the fan sales represented in orange. All right. So the chart title, we can actually change that to product sales. Let's say product sales. Product sales. Then we can, another thing we could do is, just like I said earlier, we can like put the axis title. All right. or even not necessarily put it. Let's even put the axis title this time around. So we have here, what do we have here? Don't forget, all right, when I clicked on it, you can see that it has different options for you. You can do the vertical text box axis, and you can also change it to horizontal, but I mean vertical is actually fine here. So let's just change this to can we give it let's say sales amount, for example. Let's say sales amount. Sales amount. Sales amount for the x-axis. I'm trying to so for the y-axis, I think the date actually is has explained itself. So to be honest, I'm not sure we necessarily need that, so we can delete it. All right, so we've deleted that. All right, so now if we are to change the figure within these boxes, it's definitely going to change, what we are able to see. Let's say, for example, we want to change this to 85,000, and then we enter. You can see, all right. And then let's say this one, we want to change it to like 200,000. Whatever it is that you do is always going to affect the display of what it is that you see within your, within your graphs and charts. So like I said, different ones. So don't forget, in this case, this is an area chart. This is how area chart works the most, because you use it to actually use it for more than a single, a single trend, a single variety of trends. But for the line chart, that usually is used for just a single variety of trends. And that's why the area chart is not exactly the best, for just a single variety of trend. And as you can see, that when any of the chart is being clicked on, it shows you the area that is covered. You get, it shows you the area that's covered, which gives you an understanding that, okay, this is actually what you have done within this chart. So you can delete and just click on delete. For now, let's maybe just keep this one for now. So let's move forward. Now we have bar charts. All right. Bar chart is usually used to compare frequency of observations. And someone mentioned population earlier when we were talking about what types of data should we populate. So bar chart is a very good type of data that you can use for population, or even for COVID-19 data and all of those. All right. So according to what we have here, it says this is used to compare frequency of observations across different categories or levels. In a bar chart, data are represented using horizontal rectangular bars with lengths proportional to the value which they represent. And as you can see here, you can see just the first data, the first graph that we have, the first chart that we have on this page. You can see, if you look at the exact axis, you can see that it's from 0 million to 20 million. So you can see that the variation that you have is within the category where the value of that particular country is. So for example, now Germany is actually, this is okay, is more than 20 million actually, but it's because just 20 million, because even Germany goes beyond the 20 million. All right. USA also goes beyond 20 million, but you can use this to actually monitor, your data point and what you're trying to get out of your data. The column chart, this is also used to compare frequency of observation across different categories or levels, just like the bar chart. But in a column chart, data are represented using vertical rectangular bars as opposed to the horizontal bars used in bar charts. Can someone tell me the difference between bar charts and column charts? Even from what we've heard, what do you think is the key difference between bar chart and column chart? You can drop it in the chat and you can also just answer the question. We can see it, but I just want to be sure that just from what we've read and what we have on the screen, someone is able to grasp what this actually, what difference actually this has. Okay, cool.
So
One is horizontal and the other is vertical. Thank you, Olayinka. Exactly. And as we can see here, we can see that the bar chart is what is horizontal and the column chart is what is vertical. I can tell you honestly, this is like one of the basic mistake that you see in the data analytics world. You see some people referring to the column chart as the bar chart and then the bar chart as the column chart or even as the bar chart itself. So yeah, let's keep going. We are going to populate a data for that. Okay, let's just quickly try that, to be honest. So what we can do here is we can still even use the data that we have now. The only thing is just that we only have smart sales and fan sales, not exactly in terms of population. So this is a really, really small data when it comes to bar charts or even column chart, but we could try it and then we will see how it pans out. All right. So let's look at our charts. Let's change chart type and let's look at bar. All right. Now we could use any of this. I think. Okay, I see that. Sorry for that. I see that. Like I said, I'm using the free version. I would have used the my work Excel for you, but there's a whole lot of confidential data there, and then I don't want us to get into that. But let's keep going. All right. So now we are using bar chart. If you can see what did you see that seems similar with the other one, with the ones we have in our presentation slide? What is similar? Can someone tell us what's similar? You can drop it in the chat. What do you think is similar between this and then the one that we are looking at?
column chart.
Sorry?
Column chart.
Yeah, this is actually the bar chart, but okay, so let me show you something. This is the bar chart, but in most cases, you can see we have the bar chart, the clustered bar charts. We have the stacked bar charts, and then we have the 100% stacked chart. Now, the difference in this, okay, let's show something else real quick. Now, let's change our data point. All right. Let's change our data point to this. Now, this is very similar to the first one, because the frequency, what it's looking at, in the normal population data, what we have as our month here is likely going to be what's going to be representing the countries. All right. So that's what you have like in similar form. And then this kind of shows you what each of these countries, the population is. And in this case, the amount is representing, the values. So if we were to use country, maybe we should quickly try something real quick. All right, let's just have another data point. Now let's quickly have names of different countries, please. Let's have it. Names of different countries. I'll be looking at the chart. Nigeria, thank you. Nigeria. All right, Bulgaria. Thank you. Bulgaria. Somalia. Somalia. Canada. Canada. China. 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 Germany. Germany. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. Okay, let's stop from here for now. All right. So just as the example we're looking at. All right, so now let's guess, let's just guess what the likely population of all of this can actually be. All right, let's say Nigeria is plenty. Let's say we have Nigeria to 20 million. So to not be 20 million. All right, let's say Bulgaria 18 million. All right, let's say Somalia 16 million. Just these are like placeholder data. They are not real data. So please don't let's confuse it with a real data. Let's say Canada is 14 million. All right. 14 million. Let's say China. China is very plenty actually, but in this case, let's say they are 12 million, just to follow up with the pattern we were coming with. And let's say Germany 10 million. 10 million. And then let's say Sierra Leone 8 million, for example. 8 million. All right. So now on the title, we have countries, country, and then here we have population. We have population. All right. So now let's try and just plot a bar graph, I mean a bar chart on this basically. Let's make this smaller for now. All right, so now we've highlighted the area that we want to cover, right? Just like we always do, okay? We'll still go to the insert area, and then we go to the chart area, and then we look for bar, and then this is the cluster bar, this is the stacked bar, and then this is, so in this case, we're going to use the clustered bar. Now you can see, so this automatically titles it population. Hey, sorry, okay, so enter. Just so bar. So in this case, all right, we can see that the population actually of Sierra Leone is this amount, then it goes just the same way that we were talking about the other time. Is this clear, or do we need a further explanation?
Okay.
All right, cool. Now, in this case, what happens is Excel automatically choose the relevant title for the chart. That's why you see the population. All right. And then it's telling you that what represents the population here actually is the blue bar chart. And that's why you can see that the population is represented. You can change the color if you want. Let's say, for example, your company have, let's say Odemare Tech, for example, has a specific color, a brand color. I want to use that brand color. We can come here. I'm sorry. the color area, this is ideally we are supposed to be able to do that. Okay, yeah, here. So we can come here and change the color from whatever it is that we want. If you want to use the orange, for example, you can use orange, and then automatically it gets applied to your chart. If you want to use another color, you can change it, to whatever it is, and then it automatically gets applied to your chart. But in this case, you're just going to retain our blue as it is. So you can also use, different form of the bar charts depending on which one you think will communicate better, what, you're trying to let the audience see. But in most cases, I tell you, it's better to use a grid color rather than a mixed color, because the mixed color, also can suggest something else. And I'm going to show you what other things that it can suggest now real quick so that you can see that. Now, we were trying to do something earlier, all right, with, let's bring it down. We're trying to do something earlier, right? So let's cover this. Now, if you look at this, you'll see that there are different representation of products within each of the months. If you can look at the legend, you see that this is orange and then this is smart for the color. Now let's try something, and you see the reason why I said in most cases when you are doing whatever you're doing, it's better you just use grid for just a single data entry. So we'll do here, we'll change our chart type here and then come back to our bar. Now you can see that in this case, the stacked bar is also similar to what would have been what we used if we were to, let's enter this, let's use this. So this would have been similar to if we had used, let's just quickly do that. Sorry. So imagine that we use this, and then we use this, and then we then change the color. There's a way, just like I showed you earlier, you can actually change the color to orange too. Do you know that there is a similarity between these two? And ideally, this will suggest that the color, which is the first blue color, probably is another data point. And then the ones forward that seems like a sky blue, then might be another data entry, which can be confusing for your audience that you're trying to present to. So when you have a singular data point, I always advise that you should use the grid color. I hope that is clear. So let's move forward. Now, the next one is pie charts and then donut charts. All right. So for pie charts, it's usually used to represent data in circular form, just as it is. It's used to compare frequency of observations across different categories, showing values for each category as percentages of a whole. The categories is in a pie chart are displayed in slices. The slices is just the data point that you see. This slice of gray, which is 13, the other one lemon, which is 7, the other one blue, which is 30%, the other one, orange, and then like that. Donut chart is used to represent data in circular form, just like pie chart, the pie chart basically. And even, like the bar chart also. But the donut chart has a hole in its center, and it displays categories as arcs rather than slices, as is in the case in a pie chart. So now, these two are very similar. Majorly, pie chart and donut chart. The difference between these two is that you see that the donut chart has a hole in the middle, but it also represents the data point just as similar as pie chart also does. So we'll check that real quick. Sorry. Let's quickly do this before we go to the advanced part of things. All right, let's try that out again. Now let's just delete these other ones that we have. Let's just delete these ones. Let's delete this one also. All right. So we are going to start again, all over again from the beginning. All right. So let's assume that we want to use a pie chart for this one. All right. We go through the same processes that we usually go to insert, although there are some shortcuts, but we might talk about the shortcut later. Insert, all right, and then you insert chart, and then you come to your pie chart, and then you choose the type of pie chart that you actually want. Okay, choose the type of pie chart that you want. In this case, I would like us to just stick with the default one. All right. So now we have a pie chart here that gives the population. We can see the legend, how the legend actually is represented. All right. We can see how the legend is represented. But in cases where we want to change how the legend is represented, we can also try some other format for it. Okay, so let's take a look at the text box. Okay, there's an area where we usually get these are different colors, and these are different possible options on how you can change it. The first one, which is the default, you can see we were shown the legend that Nigeria is represented in blue, but there's a 10-second rule that is in visualization, and that 10-second rule basically means that if an audience is looking at your visual and they cannot really understand what you have within 10 seconds, that visual might not be as effective as it's supposed to be. So which other option do we think will represent our data point better? All right, if we look at each of these different options and then choose the one we think might actually work better. All right, so we look at all of these and then we pick one. For me, I actually think that this actually works
The
better.
second one will work better. Yes, this one.
I believe that this one works better. So let's select this. So we apply this. Also, there are ways where you can actually put the percentage inside inside this, but I think that is usually is packaged within the advanced course level. It's part of the packages that we have, so that you have like a more extensive knowledge on how many things you can do with your graphs. With Ordinary Tech, I think there are advanced courses that are also within Excel, that they are paid courses, but I'm sure there are photocon that one can actually enroll for, so as to learn all the nitty-gritty of this, of these things. You can actually use the percentage in this, and it goes further and further and further. But in this our case, this looks much more simpler. This shows that Germany is green, Sierra Leone is, the color that is represent, Nigeria is this, Bulgaria is this, and anybody should be able to understand this within a very short period of time. Let's try it, because the same type of data actually is used with even donut chart. So we're just going to try donut chart, and then we change our chart type. Okay, I can't find that now, but let's just go through the longer process that we usually go through. So now this is bar chart, this is pie chart. We don't have the donuts here, and that's strange. I think, like I said, it might be because I'm not using the original Excel application. But ideally, within the list of the charts that you have, you're supposed to actually have a donut chart, and then you can select that. Okay, we have it. This is actually, you can see it's even listed within, it's not listed separately as I would expect it. It's listed as part of the pie chart, to know that it's actually, there are two similar ones that does not necessarily have to be separated. So we just go for, this, and then it gives us, just like we did before. This is also not making any kind of sense as it is. We just go try and format it to see the different options we have, in ways that probably communicates what we want for us better. So I believe this work better here. The only thing we can just do is that we can extend the distance, so that it gives us more, clear written form within it. The Sierra Leone actually is long, so I think we can edit any of these. In short, you can also even change the colors. So instead of Sierra Leone, let's just try something. All right, let's first of all change the color of the chart title, the data label. All right, so the data label, we can just change the color. The color of the data label, so white. I don't want us, okay, yeah, so we can do this from here. Change it to white. Let's see if that works. Oh, okay, so it's still changing it's still changing. The data label is usually, I don't want us to do it one after the other. Okay, let's just do it from here. Font, change chart type, select data, set shape fill, shape style, shape outline. So let's look at this white. All right, so we don't want the fill one. Instead of using the fill, we can just then use, instead of the fill, let's do the shape outline or even the shape style. Let's see what we have there. Okay, let's change. Okay, this is that. Then we have it in blue. Let's try this. That doesn't work for us. Let's take a look at the shape outline too, and then let's change the color.
I think you should check level after
Sorry?
size. Check level. There's a tab under this to the left. There's if you select level, I think that will be when the color will affect the level.
Yeah, I'm trying to let us not actually use the label. The label option actually is here where you can actually fill all this on, but I want us to like do it without not necessarily going through that process because that might be more. But let's look at that. No fill, we can do a whole lot of things here. We can do the no fill area, we can do the solid fill, then we can do whatever it is that we want to do, the gradient and all of that. And that is the fill. If you don't want to use the fill, actually, you can change the fill and then see the line and then change the line also. No line, we can use no line, we can use solid line, we can use gradient line, probably just choose whatever it is that we want to choose, and then that changes. Aside from that, also, we can also use text option here, and then we can look at the text field, and in this case, we have the black text field. You get,
Change it
and
to
then we can
white.
change to white, yes.
White, yeah.
And change it to white, and then that changes. We can do a whole lot of things, but I want us to like use the faster option instead of having to like going through all of this. Then the text outline also, you can also do that. In this place, you can see in this place actually that we have some of these getting into the other. So instead of having Sierra Leone, you can just have Sierra L so that works for us better. It shows that, oh, okay, it's not entering into another data point so that, we understand it. In this particular area, we can see that Canada, white doesn't really work for Canada. We have to like just look for color that will work basically for that. But in terms of having shortcut, there are different shortcuts that can be used actually without necessarily having to go through all of this formatting one after the other. But like I said again from the beginning, all right, there is a whole lot of things you can do, and once you keep playing around and keep doing one or two things, you can actually figure out as much as you're able to do. So yeah, that is that, and then we can like move to the next step. All right. So the advanced Excel chart, we have, I think, some advanced Excel chart that people don't usually use. And out of this is the radar chart, the scatter chart. There are even other charts that we are going to be looking at, as we move forward in the slide. The radar chart is basically used to compare aggregates of multiple data series. It displays multivariate, data stacked at an axis with the same central point. So what we are trying to talk about here is there has to be at least 3 quantitative variables for a radar chart to be performed. So what this is saying is that 3 quantitative variable means you have to have 3 quantitative columns that can help with the radar chart. At least 3. You can have more than that. As you can see here in this data, I'm sure that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The performance might be the title, or it can even be that these are the 5 ones, and then we have 5 quantitative variables, data variables. And you can see from the same data point, it's usually called the spider net. That's like the basic, because it looks like a spider net. All right. So that is what the radar chart does. For the scattered plots, it's called scattered chart, and also scattered plots. You can use any of those. It is also used to show the relationship, either positive or negative, between two or more quantitative variables. It uses dots to represent values for the different variables. Basically, yeah, what the scatter plot does for you is that it just shows you the data points by just using dots from whatever it is. In this case, also, you usually have more than just one quantitative variable in this case. So we'll probably just try it and then see how that goes. As SL, oh, okay, thank you. I think you already did that. Sorry, I didn't see that earlier. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And then we have the stock chart, all right? The stock, I'm sure we all know what stock is basically. It's used to illustrate fluctuation of stock prices over a given period. The stock chart is used for stock market investing as traders get in and out of trading positions using stock charts as a guide. Basically, the stock chart, I don't know, anyone who is familiar with stock, or say, or even cryptocurrency, all right, you see this stock chart is what is usually used. In most cases, usually live. It goes as there are differences in the data point. The stock chart also changes. It's usually used to make investment decisions in most of the cases. And then we have the surface chart, which is used to illustrate a set of values. It's usually in 3D format. It's used to illustrate a set of values in the form of a three-dimensional surface. In a surface chart, row headings represent the x-axis. Values, the column headings represent the row heading represent the x-axis values. The column heading represent the y-axis values, and the entries in the table represent the z-axis values. So, which means that in all of these advanced Excel charts, you cannot really use just a one quantitative data point. It usually start from 2 to 3 upward, and so on and so forth. In this area chart that we are looking at, we can see that we have the year, which is year 2015 to 16 and all of that. And then we have another data point, which we are not actually sure what it is. And this is one of the things I was talking about when it comes to the title. If this were to have an axis title, we would have understood exactly what these things are doing. Now, for the person who have done it, understand, because he is the one who did it. But for us, we cannot exactly tell what it is, or do we have anyone in the house who is able to tell us what exactly this axis is representing? The one that has the 50, 40, 30 to 0, and then the one that has car 3, car 2, and car 1. Anyone wants to try? Or maybe tell us?
If I look at it now, we have the year there, and we have car 1, car 2, car 3. If I just make a guess, it could be the number of cars that were sold in the different years, or the number of cars produced in the different years, because the three variables there, you have the year, you have the car, and then you have the other quantity. That quantity can be the number of cars or number of sales. That is a guess. And
Thank you. That's a very, very good assumption. But when it comes to data, you don't make assumptions, because I won't even be shocked if this car represents carbon. And then at the end of the numbers on the x-axis is representing the amount of carbon dioxide that is emitted on yearly basis from 2015 to 2018. Now, are we both making assumptions that make sense or not?
yeah, it also makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but none of us might be right. And that is the importance of actually making sure that whatever visualization you're putting across, you don't leave
The
your audience
legend.
as you
Yeah.
must make sure that the title of whatever it is there, so that they can understand exactly what you are doing. Do you understand? Because assumptions sometimes can lead to bad decisions, and bad decisions cost companies money. And once that happens, then you're not a good data analyst. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So we also have the tree map. The tree map functions as visualization composed of nested rectangles. As just we see, this is like a representation of a tree map. All right. And these rectangles represent certain categories within a selected dimension and are ordered in a hierarchy of tree. Then we have also funnel chart. The funnel chart is a chart that provides a visual representation of data as it progresses through different stages of a process. The chart name was derived from its shape, which resembles a funnel with sequentially narrow sections. I hope that is clear. Now we're going to try something, just so that we don't get beyond time this time. We're going to try something real quick. Don't forget that this tree map and the funnel chart does not state that we need to have more than 2 quantitative variables or even more than 1 quantitative variable. For the tree map, you have to also have more than 1 quantitative variable for it to actually be effective. Because, for example, if you only have breakfast in this chart, the only thing you see that is displayed is just going to be breakfast, and you won't be able to tell exactly which one has more consumption than the other. Do you understand? So let's quickly create a table that has more than 2 quantitative data points, and then with variables, and then we check and see how some of these things work. Basically, before we go into the question area. Okay, so all right, let's delete this. This can go. Now, in the smart TV cells, we have already 2 quantitative variables. All right. And let's just add 1, so that let's add another cells. Which one should we add? Give us examples so that we can move quickly. Let's say, for example, we want to add shoe sales. Shoe sales. Okay, so let's quickly keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. I'll be looking at the charts. Give us figures. Let's try. Give us figures that we can use very quickly. 95,000. Thank you. Sorry. 95,000. All right. 18,000. 18,000. Okay. 86,000. 86,000. 120,000. 120,000. 48,000. 48,000. 49,000. Let's keep it going. 67,000. All right. 54,000, for example. And then last but not least, 101,000. Okay. 1,000. Cool. Let's just quickly do our total like we always do. It's very important. Again, can someone quickly remind us what's the calculation for, what the formula or the function for total is supposed to be? Quickly. Someone just remind us real quick.
Total equals
Equals to, keep going. Sum, okay, equals to sum. Then we then do what? We then highlight points that we want, and then we enter. All right. So we have our sum. We have our sum here. Don't forget, like I always say, when you are trying to plot a graph or you're trying to plot a visual, don't always include the total. And I'll show you why that is important. Let's say, for example, let's just do that real quick now. Let's do this. Let's do this very quickly. And then let's use our line. Just sorry.
Okay.
So let's use our, let's say for example, we are using our line chart. Now, as you can see that because the total is way more than the other figures, it's already shoot out the total, and at the end of the day collapses the data point that we probably would have needed to see properly. Just compare this visual. Let's compare it with this. Which one do you think makes the most sense?
This one makes more.
This one. Exactly, because once your total is part of it, you just shoot it up, and then it makes your important data point to be very invisible, and it's not a good thing to do, to be honest. So yeah, that's that example. Let's quickly go to what we are trying to do here. So let's delete this. Okay, so now let's try the first one. Let's try the first one, the radar chart. Okay, so let's use the radar chart and see how it's going to look like. Or because of time, let's just pick one. All right. I think the tree map actually is very interesting. It's a very interesting one. The same thing is applicable, and also even the surface chart is also a very interesting one. So let's just do the tree map because of time. I might not be able to go through all of them at the same time. So let's say we want to do this, and then we use the tree map for it. We'll be able to tell how that is being read. Oh, okay, we don't have the tree map here, which is very strange. So let's just, okay, let's use the, let's try the radar again. Okay, we can see how this is looking. This is actually not looking very good because we don't have all of the data within the same data point of 0. Do you understand? But if it was to be that we have it within the same data point, that would have probably worked better. Do you get? So let's change our chart type. Let's change our chart type, and then let's do we could do the combo actually, which works, and even the stock, the stock will work, but the stock usually have a whole lot of data point. That's when you see the beauty of it. In this case, you will see that we only have just few data point, and that's why you can't really see the beauty of it. Let's say, for example, it has very much data point. The beauty of it, you can see in the example that was used in the charts, in the slides, you can see that there are different data points, as you can see, different data points, very many data points usually. And let's also try which other one. Let's also try scattered plot. Like we said the other time, don't forget that we said the scatter plot represents data point entry with what? With dots, basically. So basically, this is just the way all of this works. If we have someone, if you have the original Excel that you're not using an in-app of another application, you should be able to get the radar charts and even the tree map and others. You should be able to. The tree map is not here. We would have tried it. This is a very beautiful, chart. And these are data points would have worked better, with that, to be honest. Basically, yeah, for today, that is that. Do we have any question that we might want to ask before we go to the quiz of the day? Anyone at all? Any question at all? Does that mean we do not have questions? Should I assume that everything we've mentioned today as is as clear as the eagle's eyes, or what do they call it? Okay, we have some questions within the chat. Okay, no questions, no question. Okay, cool. If we have no question, then let's go to our quiz of the day. Are we ready? So before the quiz will be started, we'll wait for everyone to join. Please, let's participate as much as we are today, just to test our knowledge of some of the things that we've talked about today, so that if there's any at all that we did not get, we can go back and then go and revise to have a proper understanding of it. So let's do this. Are we ready?
Yes.
Adebayo said we are ready. So we're just going to go into it. I think we should be giving the highest winner some kind of gift. So can we join? Let's join the quiz. You can use the QR code. You can use the what's it called? The link that was sent earlier. You can also use the number to join. Okay, Adebayo has joined. Olayinka has joined. Okay, so we'll wait for more people to join. Muhammad has joined. Thank you. Wait for more people to join. Let's keep it coming. We still have, I think, tens of participants within, within the call. So it would be nice for us to participate. Then we'll look at the person who is on the leaderboard and all of that. We have 2 more minutes to wait before we start it, just only with the people that we have within the house. Sam has joined. Thank you. 2 more minutes before we start. Spirit has joined. Thank you. Oluwaseun has joined. 1 more minute before we start. All right, so we'll start now. Don't forget, each question has a countdown. Let's see what we're able to get. I wish you good luck. We'll start now. Okay, cool. Okay, so as we can see, we have 1 person. Some people do not get it correctly. The right answer is chart focus on raw data, while graph focus on trends. So there's a difference apparently. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to join this.
Okay, so it is definitely quantitative data. Let's keep going.
Hello, I'm not able to join. Can
Yes,
you?
sorry, what's the problem?
I need a direction. I'm trying to join and it's asking me to create this slide something, taking me to a
Create what?
long process. To sign in and to sign up. I don't really get that.
If you're using the code or you're using the link, you might have to sign up. But if
I
you're using
use the link.
then that's why you might have to just sign up for today. If you're able to meet up, that's fine. If you're not, that's also fine. Tomorrow you
So
can
how do I
continue.
use the code?
Yeah, the code is here, but if you use the QR code, you won't be asked to sign up. But if you use the link or the code that you can see on the screen, 11053, you would most likely
Where do I
ask to
enter
sign
the
up.
code? That is all it.
Once you sign up, it will bring out where you should enter the code.
Okay, when I take sign up.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So what is the main characteristics of a funnel chart? That's a mistake. Okay. All right, cool. It's the shapes. You can see the correct answer. Keep going. So for now, we are done with the basic part of the topic we've covered so far. There's one more topic that we need to quickly cover. Within 5 minutes, we should be done with that, and then we come back to our quiz as usual. So here we have okay, so here we have the Excel data type, the Excel data analyst job interview. You can. All right. So what do you think is the most important part of the Excel data analyst job interview? And I'll quickly go through it and then we'll take a look at what our understanding about it is. A Microsoft Excel job interview often involves an oral phase where questions are asked about what one can do with Excel and one's experience in the usage of the spreadsheet program, and an assessment phase where one's Excel knowledge is put into test. The following are helpful key points for the interviewee in the oral interview phase. Sorry. One, emphasis should be laid on the usage of Excel functions and formulas and how they make work much easier for Excel users. If possible, examples should be given with one's experience of how these functions and formulas have eased tasks. Emphasis should be laid on projects done with Excel, what project aims to achieve, and how Microsoft Excel has helped one to achieve these aims. This may be project done during one's previous role or personal projects. For people with no job experience, it's better to use your personal projects, that you've had in the past. Then the interviewee should also have a background view of the phase of the data analytics process the role dwells in. What this is basically saying is that you should have a background view of the phase of data analytics process the rule dwells on. Like if it is majorly data gathering, cleaning, or visualization, so that you can know which areas to focus on during the interview phase. Okay, the interview should then make sure to talk about his or her Excel experience and projects, and then dwells on that very well. Then they also say that the following are helpful key points for the interview in the assessment phase. The syntax of Excel functions and formulas should be well studied, as multiple choice questions are expected. Emphasis on multiple choice questions. The application of Excel functions and formulas should be practiced, as practical questions are also expected. Do we have an understanding of what has just been read within these 2 pages that we just looked at just now? And then we can test our understanding of that. If there's any question based on that, please let's ask so that we can also move forward. Any question at all? No questions, right? Okay, so let's try. Let's see how much of this are we going to be able to get. All right, so we start from here. From here. Good. Good. Okay, good. So we can see here that the thing to actually focus on is personal projects involving Excel, not the other one. So let's keep going. Multiple choice question. And I mentioned it the other time that it should be what we should lay emphasis on. Multiple choice question. Don't forget that, please. Okay. In this case, syntax of Excel functions and formula is what is advisable to focus on the more. Theory of data analytics really won't help as an Excel-based interview. And your presentation skill is actually not exactly going to help for the interview phase, basically. It will help, but you need more of the syntax of Excel functions and formulas. Let's go to the last one and see. Now, I intentionally put this question to just test our knowledge of what we've been saying since yesterday and how it can be very tricky. Now, if you look at this question very well, it says, which phase of the data analytics process involves preparing data for analysis? It means that you already gather and collect your data. You are just preparing it for analysis. And in this case, let's see what the right answer is. The right answer is data cleaning. You already gather your data, you've collected it, you are preparing it for analysis. It's called data cleaning or data pre-processing. In most cases, that's how it is. So let's look at the leaderboard. Okay. So out of 12, Olayinka scored 9, which is a good one. Please, a round of applause for Olayinka. Adebayo also scored 7 out of 12. Although Olayinka took more time, Adebayo is more faster. Adebayo took 2 minutes and 37 seconds to answer, which means he answers faster than Olayinka. Olayinka took an average minute of 4 minutes, 11 seconds to answer all the questions, which means that he's a little bit slower than Adebayo. But all in all, Olayinka scored 9. Please, a round of applause, which is more than average. Adebayo scored 7. A round of applause, which is also more than average. Sam scored 6, which is average. That's also a good try. Please, if need be, revise, the whole thing and then say again. Temitayo scored average, which is also good. And then Oluwaseun scored 5. That is not also a bad score, but I encourage you, Oluwaseun, to probably go back to this class section after it's been posted, after the recording has been posted, and then look at it again, and we can come back to ask more questions and try more quiz for the day. This is going to be the end of our class today. I hope that you are able to get some really nice, insight and knowledge. Just one more thing, just one last thing that we need to do before we go. I would like that we all rate what the experience of the class today is like, so that we can get feedback and then we can know how to improve on that. So overall, how would you rate your learning experience in today's class? 1 being not learning, no learning at all, to 5 being very, very, insightful and satisfying. So we have a 5-star already. Let all of us also vote so that we know, we have 3 persons voting, we have 5-star already. If we can also have more voters, we have 4-star, 2 4-star, 3 5-stars, and a total of 4.6 rating over 5. If we can have one, I think we have 6 people who actually participated in the quiz. If you also can come to rate so that we know what exactly the idea is. That is 50-50, which means a total of 4.5-star rating out of 5. This is very insightful. Please don't forget, like we always say, please don't forget to drop feedback on our WhatsApp group, and also maybe to reach out to Udimari Tech and give us feedback on how we can improve the class section. Thank you very much as we go home today. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.